I never thought my marriage would end with a rule. Not an argument. Not a slammed door. Not even a confession. Just one quiet evening, her voice sharp and steady as she said, "Ethan, I think we need to start seeing other people. Temporarily." At first, I thought I'd misheard her. We were sitting in our kitchen, the one we'd remodeled together, the smell of tomato sauce still hanging in the air. The soft hum of the dishwasher filled the silence between us. She wasn't joking. She stirred her wine with her finger, eyes not meeting mine. "It doesn't mean I don't love you," she said. "It's just, I need space. Freedom. I think it'll make us stronger in the long run." My laugh came out hollow. "You want to make our marriage stronger by dating other people?" She winced but nodded. "It's not about dating. It's about exploring. Reconnecting with ourselves. We've been married 6 years, Ethan. We've lost our spark." I looked at her, really looked at her. Her hair tied back in a loose bun, her wedding ring catching the light, her expression almost rehearsed. And for the first time in years, I realized she'd already made up her mind. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing her words echo in the dark. Seeing other people. The phrase was cold, clinical, almost businesslike. I wanted to fight it, to tell her how ridiculous it sounded. But a deeper, heavier truth pressed against my chest. Maybe she'd already started. The next morning, she was humming as she got ready for work. The same perfume she wore when we first met, the one she hadn't touched in months, hung in the air. "Big day?" I asked, forcing a smile. She paused at the mirror. "Just another Thursday." But her reflection gave her away. I spent that day replaying our last few months like scenes from a movie I'd missed the plot to. The late nights. The sudden gym obsession. The way she'd started locking her phone. And then there was her coworker, Marcus. The guy she swore was just a friend. I'd brushed it off, trusted her. But now that trust felt like a cruel joke. By the third day I broke. I waited until she left for her yoga class. 30 minutes later I checked her iPad, the one synced to her phone. My hands shook as I scrolled through messages. There it was. "Marcus, last night was incredible. You look so happy. You make me feel like myself again. Don't tell anyone, okay?" Ethan wouldn't understand. The words burned through me like acid. I sat there for a long time, staring at the screen, numb and shaking. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just sat there, realizing that somewhere along the way, she'd decided I wasn't enough. When she came home that night, I was calm, too calm. "How was yoga?" I asked. She smiled, dropping her mat by the door. "Exhausting. But good." "Good," I said, pouring her a glass of water. "Marcus must be a great instructor." She froze. The color drained from her face. "Ethan, don't bother," I said quietly. "I saw the messages." Her lips trembled, and for a moment I thought she might apologize. Instead, she set the glass down and crossed her arms. "You had no right to go through my things." I laughed bitterly. "That's what you're mad about." She looked away, voice small but defiant. "I told you I needed space. You wouldn't listen." "Space." Snap. "You were sleeping with another man, Emily. That's not space. That's betrayal." Her chin lifted, and I saw something shift in her eyes. Pride, maybe, or shame disguised as confidence. "Maybe if you'd listened, I wouldn't have had to find comfort elsewhere." That broke something in me. Not just anger but grief. The woman I loved was gone. Replaced by someone I didn't recognize. She tried to leave that night, suitcase half-packed, mascara running down her cheeks. I didn't stop her. But she didn't leave for good, not yet. For the next few days, she stayed in the guest room, talking about redefining boundaries and mutual growth. She made it sound like we were negotiating a contract, not picking through the ruins of a marriage. Then came the rule. "If we're going to move forward," she said, sitting at the edge of the couch, "I think we need an agreement. You can't date anyone for 6 months. You need to work on yourself first." I stared at her, dumbfounded. "So you get to cheat, and I get a curfew?" She sighed, as if explaining something obvious to a child. It's not cheating. It's growth. I just don't want you doing anything impulsive out of spite. I know you still love me. Something inside me cracked. Cleanly, quietly. Smiled. Not the bitter, sarcastic kind this time. Real calm smile. Okay, I said softly. If that's what you need. She looked relieved, mistaking my calm for surrender. 3 days later I moved out. I left a note on the counter. You wanted space. Now you have it. I didn't block her. I didn't argue. I just disappeared from her life like she'd wanted. At first she didn't reach out. Maybe she thought I'd come crawling back. But weeks passed, and the silence grew heavier. She started texting casual things at first. Hey, hope you're okay. Then longer messages. I think I made a mistake. Can we talk? I didn't reply. Not once. Because I realized something in those quiet weeks apart. I'd been living in the shadow of her indecision. Waiting for her to choose me while she entertained someone else. And for what? To prove I was still worth loving. I didn't need her validation anymore. I needed peace. 2 months later, I ran into Marcus at a cafe downtown. He looked wrecked. Dark circles, hollow expression. When he saw me, he almost flinched. She told me you two were separated, he said quietly. Shrugged. We are now. He hesitated. She moved out of her apartment last week. Said she was trying to get her husband back. I didn't respond. Just paid for my coffee and walked out. A few days later I got a letter. Handwritten, trembling. Thin. I thought I knew what I wanted, but I was wrong. I was selfish and scared. I tried to test you, thinking you'd chase me, that you'd fight for me. But you didn't. You just let me go. And now I see that I was the one who needed you more than you ever needed me. Sorry. For everything. If there's even a small part of you that could forgive me, please call. Emily. I folded the letter, placed it back in the envelope, and slid it into a drawer. Not out of anger, just acceptance. Because forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it means closing the book and walking away without bitterness. Last week I saw her again. Standing outside the same cafe where we'd had our first date years ago. She looked smaller somehow, like the weight of her choices had finally caught up. Our eyes met, and she gave a faint, hopeful smile. Ethan, she said softly. You look good. He nodded. You too. There was a pause. The kind that used to be filled with laughter, now just empty air. I thought you'd hate me forever, she whispered. I shook my head. I don't hate you. I just don't love you anymore. She flinched, barely, but it was enough. I walked away, the late afternoon sun warm on my back, a quiet calm in my chest. She tried to play a game, thinking I'd beg her to stay. But some lessons come too late. And now she's alone.